Okay, good morning, even grade 10. Hope you're all well. So I'm just going to explain this week what you're doing in your week 9 and your Eid al-Fitr holiday. So you're going to be doing the summative. Don't worry, it's a very easy summative and it won't take you too long. So this week we've got 3 days. We're just going to basically introducing our summative assessment. You can ask me questions, you can ask for help, and then over the Eid al-Fitr holidays, you're going to go away and do it. So your goal is to show, remember our statement of inquiry, that our perspectives of characters in literature is shaped by audience imperatives, which are in turn shaped by our own identities and relationships. So your task is to write a formal academic essay in response to one of either 2 prompts. Notice it's one. You only choose one. You don't have to choose 2. The first prompt is Shakespeare's play Othello demonstrates the weakness of human judgment. The second prompt is Othello is the principal agent of his own downfall. So you choose one of those questions, you write an essay in response to it. It has to be a Microsoft Word document, because it obviously has to be submitted to ManageBag. Arial 11, double spaced, 500 700 words, plus or minus 10%, and this includes quotes and in-text citations. And you'll be assessed by criterion A, strands 1, 2, and 3, and criterion B, strands 1, 2, and 3. Do have a look on ManageBag because it does list out all the specific strands. Okay, here's some guidelines. This is a summative assessment of your skills. It should be 100% your own work, obviously, and this includes editing and proofreading. This is a formal academic essay, so it really would be wise to read the play carefully, looking for relevant supporting action and quotes to support your thesis statement. Plan your essay before writing. I've given you a plan, okay, which I'll show you in a minute. Don't just start writing it. Your essay should include an introduction with a hook and a clear, defensible thesis statement that I will explain in a minute. Each paragraph should begin with a clear topic sentence with a defensible claim. I'll explain this in a minute. You should include some references to some of the stylistic features we've looked at in this unit. We've looked at themes, motifs, symbols, conventions of a Shakespeare tragedy, characterization. This is the time to use what you have learned. Okay? You can include sort of ideas from previous work. So for example, our Race and Othello, there may be some ideas you talked about. You can't simply copy and paste it. This is a form of plagiarism. You can plagiarize yourself. So if you just copy and paste a chunk from your previous assignment, still is plagiarism unless you cite it. Each paragraph should have a correctly cited textual support for the claim in the topic sentence. We've given you a PDF for citation guidance with MLA. I'm sure you all know how to use MLA, but this is specific to MLA in Shakespeare. Each time you give a quote, you give textual evidence, you have to thoroughly explain it. You can't just put quotes in and think that's your explanation. You should not just quote large chunks of the play. More than 3 to 4 lines or 25 words is an indication you're quoting too much. Okay? So remember, you're analyzing, you're not describing the play. And you should really carefully proofread your final draft for errors. Okay? So basically what you should use this week for: start planning, see the outline template that I'm going to show you, start thinking about textual evidence, start thinking about stylistic features, start thinking of your thesis statement. It's much better if you ask me questions on this now rather than on June the 2nd or June the 3rd at 3:30 p.m. Okay, this is why we did it like this way. So you'd have these 3 days to ask questions, and then once everything was clear, you would have the Eid al-Fitr holiday to do it. So let's just quickly, this is obviously attached, this is the PDF, it outlines everything. So this is an example template. Now please note, this is an example. Doesn't mean you have to have 3 main paragraphs only. You can have more, you can have less. It's an example. So in an introduction we have a hook. So a hook is just an opening statement which engages the reader. It's called a hook because it's like hooking a fish. And you know, I think the easiest way to think of a hook is to make it a reference to why Othello is still relevant, why this question is relevant. So the hook I came up with here is Othello by William Shakespeare has captivated audiences across time and space because of its commentary on the flaws of human nature, something we can all relate to. So it's basically saying this piece of literature is universal, it's timeless. Then my thesis statement is Shakespeare uses themes, dramatic irony, and characterization to show that human judgment is flawed. So as you can hopefully tell, that was a response to number 1, Shakespeare's play Othello demonstrates the weakness of human judgment. I hope it was fairly clear. Okay, so remember with your thesis statement, what is the message that Shakespeare wants to show? Human judgment is flawed. How does he do it? He uses themes, dramatic irony, and characterization. Okay, so paragraph 1, topic sentence, defensible claims. What do I mean by a defensible claim? Something you can back up. Something you can back up with evidence. What is your evidence? It's the use of themes, the use of characterization. It is your text, your textual evidence to support you. So, a topic sentence just outlines what you're talking about. So, the theme of jealousy overriding logic illustrates how a judgment can be affected by emotion. So then I know that this whole paragraph is going to be about the theme of jealousy overriding logic. So I'm looking for textual evidence to support this. Okay, and at the end, I'm going to link this back to the question. Okay, very, very simple. So that is your paragraph structure. And then in the end, your conclusion, summarize what you've talked about and how they relate to your thesis statement. Okay, so I think this is fairly straightforward structure, but as I said, use this time to ask me questions. Okay, and then whether or not the school reopens on June the 3rd, once we've got the summative out of the way, and once we've done your final semester task, which we'll do the first week coming back, which is very easy, we'll be able to do something fun with Othello. We'll be able to look at something more interesting. Okay, I will also be giving you feedback this week on your formatives, your individual orals. So thanks, have a good day. As ever, there's an engagement doc, and have a good week, grade 10.